Okay, so the Eastwood internal frame coating. What are our thoughts on this? So we've sprayed the whole entire frame now. Anything that's inside something that we haven't been able to get with a like traditional nozzle. And I want to give you some tips on what we learned about it. So when you get this box, this little tube is going to be in this baggie and it's wrapped pretty tight. And what I discovered is when you unbox this thing and you put this thing on the tip of the can, what's going to happen is that thing's going to want to stay all pigtailed up like that. It's going to stay curly-Q, which is not in your benefit. Because what's going to happen is you're going to slide it through either a little hole in your frame where a bolt goes or through the end, and as soon as you put that thing in there, it's just going to curl over like that in the frame. So the remedy to that is super simple. We just took a hair dryer, we warmed this thing up and straightened it right out, and then it worked like a champ. So what seems like a big deal at first is not a big deal. So if you do that right off the bat, you're not going to struggle with that. Secondly, these things are actually reusable. So if you want to spray whatever you're spraying through it, if you run some of the their pre-painting prep spray through this nozzle afterwards, that'll go right on top of that other can. You can clean it out and reuse it. So if you want to continue to use this for whatever down the road and you only have one of these, just say you just purchased this, you can continue to reuse that. Okay, the other thing I learned is as it sprays out of this conical head, it sprays all the way around, but it's not like a really fine misty spray. It's messier than I anticipated, which is probably good because it's getting everywhere inside that frame. So what I found out was happening, we'd put it in there and just very slowly work our way out. So I was flooding the area pretty heavily, which is what you want to do. But then with that, in the frame, there's spots where we have holes in the side or in the bottom or wherever, and it's going to run out of there. It's going to be messy.
Yeah, it's coming through the holes here.
Anywhere there's a hole, it's coming out. It's very liquidy, much more than I would have thought. Cover anything below that. Make sure you're covering it because it's going to drip out and run, and it's more liquidy than maybe what you'd expect. But in terms of like what it does to coat it, it coats it incredible, but it's messy. So just make sure you got some drop cloths down or whatever. So if you just do a couple simple things like that, man, the product is fantastic. It coats it. So we'll show some images of some of the process that we did. But yeah, is it worth it? Definitely, because I don't know of any other way to get all the way in those frame pieces. And even your cross members, like in this is an A body, so you have all these cross members under the floor that are like maybe an inch deep, and there's always little holes in places you can get in there and work your way out and coat the inside of those cross members as well. So any vehicle that you've got something inside somewhere you want to get and you don't want it to rust later and it's bare metal or maybe rusty metal and you want to encapsulate it, the internal frame coating is your product to use.